Right, we've just done a couple of little tweaks. Again, this is just a test stream back on XSplit Gamecaster. It's a good emergency backup for me because I've suddenly had some sort of weird audio issues on XSplit Broadcaster, so I think I'm going to have to gut it out. I've messed around with it and it's still bugged in some sort of way. I don't know what the cause is, but we will try and make do with what we've got. XSplit Gamecaster, the old version which I'm using, is nothing like the new version of XSplit Gamecaster, but it does the job. And of course I only need to use one monitor with this one because all the chat is on screen. Now at the moment we are in a cowboy room. This is what I normally do on my day off. Try and get a game of cowboy. I don't know whether these guys are going to be staying, but we'll soon find out. See whether we'll get a game of doubles going. Yes, we do. And I teamed up with Crosty. Some of the other guys will have gone for the night because it's late, very late in the States. Here it's what time is it? It's 20 minutes past 8 in the morning. So we've got Mark Sharp, one of the VP4 TV team members, teamed up with another VP4 TV team member, Tornado Tam. So you've got Mark from the States, Tam from Canada. You've got yours truly teamed up with Crosty. Now, where the hell's Crosty from? Colombia. Which is the funniest thing about Crosty is he types most of his stuff in well, I believe it's Spanish they speak in Colombia. He types most of it in Spanish, most of which none of us can read. Some of the guys might, but he's the only one that genuinely speaks Spanish, and he types it in Spanish, but he understands English. It's weird. I'm just testing and looking to see what this looks like on YouTube. Still waiting on a visit here. Of course, that's the major benefit with the old Gamecaster, which I like, and it allows you to have a single monitor, no second monitor. Although I'm using a second monitor, but I'm just using that to look at YouTube. This is streaming via Restream through YouTube and also Twitch. But I've got the actual on-screen chat on my screen, so it's much clearer for me to read than it is looking at it in a tiny second monitor, which is what I normally have to do with broadcasters. So there's the benefits are there, but this is certainly a pretty reliable piece of software, and but it's about 3 or 4 versions old, this one, and the new XSplit Gamecaster is nothing like this at all, but this is a good backup. It's always good to have it. So we've got Tornado Tam and Mark Sharp on a run of 19. Now this is really the reason I'm doing this test today or this morning is because I don't want to be messing around with XSplit Broadcaster today. I'm just going to leave it, and I wanted to make sure this was all still working and configured properly, or as good as I can get it, in preparation for the 2 matches that are coming up later on today. And if I go to, well, it's my turn, hang on a minute. So we're up and running. Crosty's had a carom, and now I'm just looking at the table to find out where I am. So the 3 ball's going to spot down here, and I need to get out into the table to try and leave him a carom to follow. So I want to go over to the left somewhere without scratching. That might be okay. I think he can get away with that. I think he can. I mean, the most obvious thing about Cowboy is when you're playing doubles, more important than anything else is to try and leave something for your opponent. Now, Crosty's played the carom, but he's not left me anything exactly easy. This cut in the 5 is thin, and I'm running up and down the table, and I need to avoid a scratch. So it doesn't give me great control of the cue ball, that's the problem. Now, I could cut the 3 that way and go up the table, and that would still leave a possibility of a carom, so we'll try that. I'll probably miss this. So he's top side of the 3, which leaves a decent shot in the carom, so he doesn't want to hit this hard. And that's nailed me to the 5. Problem now is there's very little I can do with the cue ball. So at best he's going to be able to play a carom from the 5 to the 1. I don't want to try punching this to the rail. That's as good as he's going to get, like it or lump it. Got to get this thin. And that's now blocked me off for the 5, but as long as I can get sort of back across the table, he's got an easy carom, provided I can pot this 3 ball. I say an easy carom, it's not easy now. I needed to hit that a lot harder to get back across the other side. And this is dangerous. That's worked out well enough. So our run goes to 25 now. Looking at where the 1 is, where the 5 is. So if I run around 3 rails and come to about this side of the table, it's a dangerous carom to leave him because there's always a scratch in the corner of it. And I've overcut it. I've overcut it. Well, that was a short visit. He's maybe get a point. The 5 will go in that spot. And he can push through for the force follow. And he doesn't want to push through too soft because he'll leave me nothing. He might have left me nothing anyway. Well, this could have been better. Now it needs to stop to leave that angle. Now, what have we got? Well, I can cut. I think that 3's a bit thin. I don't know whether I want to be running into the 1 ball either with this 5. I want to try and get around the table. That was always the problem. And now I'm not in good shape, or at least Crossley's not in good shape. Oh, I just got a little clip on it. What a bonus that is. Under 5 going in. The run goes to 52. I thought our visit was over. We're on a run of 52. This is bloody good. Now, that's the head of the table. Well, that's the kitchen end of the table. So if I pot the 3, it's going back up there. 5 ball. Right, so this is not great. It's awkward, but I'm going to take it on. Now that is not bad for a force follow behind the 5. It's a very good line onto the 3. Now he needs to watch the scratch. This is a disaster, and that's a major problem. That's always a major problem. You've got to play it nice and soft. And I don't know what our run was. It was 50 something. But at least I've got it all in video. And that's what happens. He had to hit that. I mean, he hit it fine. He hit it fine, but he just hit it too heavy. You know, you just have to roll the ball onto that ball to make the carom. And if you hit it soft, you know you're not going to scratch. So there's all that hard work all down the drain. Nice little run we were on. There's certain sucker scratches that you have in Cowboy, and certainly playing off the 5 ball in the middle of the table down onto either the 1 ball or the 3 ball. If you sometimes have to hit it a bit firm to make the hit, but there's always the very strong likelihood of scratching in one of the corner pockets when you play that shot. So the best thing to do is not to leave yourself in that position. But that shot there was a pretty good, decent enough positional shot that I'd played, and it was just a straightforward force follow, but you've got to control your pace. And that's one thing that Crosty tends to do quite a bit, is overhit things when you don't need to. He tends to bang a bit, and he tends to pay the price as well because of it. But Mark Sharps had a disaster, so everything's hunky-dory again. Right, so the objective here is to try and pot a ball. When you come first to the table, it's to try and pot a ball and also make a carom, and that way you've got an open table for your partner. Now, I don't want to leave the 3 and 5 there because let me see if I can get around the other side. He needs to come up the table. It's going to scratch. That's a disaster. Oh dear, I don't know what the hell I was trying to get a bump in that 5 ball, and of course I've scratched as well. Now that's the fun about Cowboy. I mean, you know, you could be going along as sweet as anything, and you're putting a good run together with your partner, and then the next thing you know, disaster jumps out and grabs you. And that was purely from trying to get the carom on the 5 ball. And this is why I enjoy it so much, because you've never lost a game of Cowboy. Even if the other team are like 90 points in front, you can always come back and you've always got a chance of winning it. And we were on a great roll. Then Tam and Mark scratched, and of course our chance went out the window quick. So here we go again. Let's see what Crosty's left me this time. So this is just a feather edge. I hate these because I struggle to see the edge of these balls, but that's going to maybe leave a long 5 ball for him if I can get the carom. Let's have a look. That's fine. That'll do. Now, whenever you're playing, you've got to always think about where the balls are spotting and what you're leaving your partner. Now, what he's done here is left me nothing great, because the 5 ball's blocked by the 1 for the force follow. It's not available. And I don't have a 2-in-1 shot either. Let's have a look. So if I go 5 ball, long rail, short rail up top, and try and come in behind the 1, I don't know whether I'll have this right or not, but we'll find out. No, just missed it, and I'm going to scratch. No. But as soon as you're left, see, this is another thing about Cowboy. A lot of guys are scared to use the rails. They tend to go for big banging shots and stuff like that. But you've got to use the rails in Cowboy, and use them better than I did there. So I wonder if this XSplit Gamecaster is going to hold together until later this afternoon, because we have the 2 matches in the 10-ball World Championships are going to overlap, starting at 2 p.m. today, British Summer Time. And British Summer Time is all but over. The clocks will be going. They'll be going back an hour, I think, the next week or 2 at least. Now you see, that is a good force follow, but Tam hasn't got the line. So Crosty at the table. So he's decided to open up with the carom. Now the problem with that is he's played it too soft, and again he's left me nothing as a shot. You know, that's again, you've got to be thinking of your feet. You know, you see, if you're hitting that soft, you're pushing balls to rails and you're not leaving anything easy at all. And this is not a great bank, I don't think, either. Trying to get the cue ball out of the way. That's straightened up. So, so much for us having a good lead at the start. And it's like any game, you've just got to be thinking every time you play a shot, especially in this game, because you're looking to leave your partner something half decent to continue the run. So you've got to think about where the cue ball's going. Remember where the ball, what end of the table you're at. Know whether a ball is going to spot. Sometimes there's a ball covering a spot, and you're left with just the 2 balls on the table. That's a good cut. So it looks as if we're about to get drilled here from Tam and Mark, unless myself and Crosty can get our act together. Now, is that going to get there? I don't think it has, so Tam's had a brain fart there. Now again, Crosty at the table. The 3 ball's going to spot it, but where's he going to leave the cue ball for me? Well, he's not. He's decided to play the carom, which might not be a bad idea. Now, if I can get around the other side. Now, this is a good enough line just to... No, maybe not. Now that needs to slow up that 3 ball. Now we've got a long 5 now. And it's pretty straight. This is not going to leave him much at all. So I've got to try and follow this 5 ball right up the table. I mean, I could jack up and stun it in and leave him this end of the table. I think that's what I might try. And this is why you miss these shots. Yep. That would have left him a force follow. So now Tam has a... Well, he's got a choice. The one you don't want to play is the carom from the 1 to the 5. The one from the 5 to the 3 is also dangerous because the 3 ball's in the corner. But it's actually quite a big target. But Tam's going for the 1. See, you needed the big stun to play that one. And now, what's Crosty got here? Not an awful lot either. I mean, he can play the 1 ball. He's looking at the 5. He seems enticed by the 5. And again, some players play cowboy where they think they just want to score more points, the higher point ball each time. And it's not the best way to play because what you're trying to do is keep a run going. You see, he's been enticed by the 5 when he had an easier shot in the 1. Now is he going to get lucky with the carom? No, he isn't. He's scratched. See, that's a thing that a lot of players do. That rather than playing the right shot to get the next shot to carry on, they go for the big points on the big ball, the 5 ball, and which is fine for the points, but not great for position. And that's a thing that a lot of players do wrong in cowboy. You have to play the right ball to get the best position. And this match has gone right downhill as far as quality goes. Now, if I go forward on the 3 ball, because we're at the right end of the table, I think if I go forward and come back up, I'm at least trying to give him something on that 5 ball. And that's pretty good. That's an easy enough hitting the carom between the 3 and the 5. And now, again, where the 3 is, and knowing that where the 5 is going to spot, is going to have a good chance either off the 3 to the 5 or from the 5 to the 1. When I play this, it's probably going to be from the 5 to the 1 for the next carom. Right, because it's not great, to be honest with you, that angle. It's not great. I've actually ran through too far. The good thing now is he's bumped the 5 down towards the 1 spot. So the 1 spot's there, and this is the only thing I've got to make sure is I finish over there somewhere. And that ain't it. That's well shot. That is well shot. and he's trying to kick it from the 2-rail. That was a poor shot from myself. But at least we kept our points. We only got 11 of them, but we've kept them. We haven't scratched. Oh dear, Martin, where's this going? This is going to be a jammy combo. Well, we're back in again. We're getting off the hook here. We might get some points back here. Now this one ball again is going to spot, so I just need to leave him a sight on the 5, something better than I did in the last shot. So that should be fine. Now again, he's played the carom, and this shot on the 1, I think I'll just try and stop the cue ball there, pretty much. That'll do. That keeps us in close quarters with a 1 and 5. Now that 5 needs to get out of the way. Now the obvious thing would be to put the 1 ball back in the spot, but if you pot the 5 and run up the table a bit, it gives a chance to the carom from the 5 to the 1. Just not too heavy. And that's a good force follow from the 5 to the 1. Force follow is just finding a line and going through after the 5 ball and running onto the 1. Like that. Now what you don't want to do is to lock up on the 1 ball, which he hasn't done, and it's now left me another tough shot. These are the things I struggle with. Now again, I could play this soft, and if I play it soft I'm going to finish somewhere near the 1 for a carom to the 1-5. So I've got to go for it. But I do struggle with this nowadays. That'll do. And that's not bad for the follow-up carom. Oh dear. Now he's going to get lucky. That is extremely lucky. Missed the carom in the way round, but got the second one. That's what you call a 2-in-1 shot. That's a popular shot that comes up in Cowboy. You miss the first ball, but the cue ball runs round and hits the other one. Now this is nothing great. I'm going to try and kill the pace off this. Mind you, I should probably go forward, to be honest with you. I think that's probably a better shot. Maybe a bit forward. Let's see if I've picked the cut angle in this. Now, slow up, slow up, slow up. That's still good for a force follow. In fact, he doesn't need to force follow. He can catch the edge and go to the rail, or go straight to the 1 ball. And you see again, he's played that way too heavy. He didn't need to hit that as hard as that, because the cue ball's running loose. When the cue ball's running loose, you're asking for trouble. Now, I need to come back off the 1, somewhere over to the left as we look, and hopefully leave him something decent to that, is that 3 ball there, or the 5 ball? Oh, a bit too much juice into that. It might be okay. He can go off the right side of the 1, maybe a bit of spin and kick into that ball. And he doesn't want to scratch. So now the 1 ball is going to spot there. And that being the case, I've got to look at where the cue ball is going to go to leave a decent carom. And it's a bit straight. And I might try the old VP4 escape route. And I don't want that to block the the 1 ball. So that's a draw back to the rail to, you need a bit of draw and bottom left spin to spin into the 5. See, he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. Now that shot there, when he played the draw, he should have drawn to the rail with bottom and left hand English, and if he'd done that, he would have kicked into the 5. So clearly Crossty's lacking that little bit of knowledge to be able to execute that type of shot. And I think Mark Shark is gone. It looks as if Mark has disconnected. The message hasn't popped up yet. Looking at the playback on the live stream, it looks okay at the moment. But I think that we're going to get the disconnect coming up in a second or two. And we've got the message, and Mark Sharp's decided to return. Right, we're back. I was testing the... Well, I was back. It keeps going away. I was testing the Be Right Back screen there and it got stuck, so I had to remap it. This is why you have to do testing. So where are we? We're on 88. So we need 2 points. And I can't obviously pot the 3. And the 1 ball is going way back up the table. Now I might try and get a carom here as well, but there's a danger of pushing that 5 ball in. Well, now, I don't know what I've done here. I think I was on a carom. Yeah, that's what happens when you get distracted. Now, let's try remapping that in a second. Right, let me see how that works. So we're back in game. Let's test the Be Right Back graphic. And that's got rid of it, so that's now functioning properly. Meanwhile, back to the match, we are still in 89. Now I can get the 1 ball and leave a possible carom from the 1 to the 3. Let's have a little dink. Now, is that too straight? Oh no, it's the wrong end of the table. See, that's the other confusion you get when you're distracted. You forget what end of 1 ball's going on. And that was unlucky. That was, again, another poor one from me. Well, the good news is, though, we're now on 90, so we don't need to worry now about what we're doing. It's all caroms up to 100 and then the final scratch off the 1 ball. And this is where the match is won or lost once both teams get down to the caroms. Well, looking at the, again, this is purely for testing purposes, looking at the stream quality on YouTube. I haven't looked at Twitch, but YouTube looks fine. Now I'm just going to check what the delay is. 1, 2, 3. It's about 3 or 4 seconds on YouTube. It's usually a bit faster on Twitch. Now this is no use because the 3 balls now limited our shot choices here. And that's now put the 1 in a dangerous position. So now Crosty has to go probably 3 rails, so he's going to have a spin around the table. Hasn't quite got the line. but that was really the only shot that was on. And now, of course, with that 3 ball being over the pocket, Mark Shark will pot it to get his team to 90. And now it's a race to the finishing line. While they're at the table, I'm going to just tab out and go to Twitch to see how Right, we're now in Twitch. I wonder if the volume's up in this. Right, we're now in Twitch. I wonder if the volume's up in this. So, now we're at the table. I'm just going to check the timing between the live stream and Twitch, and it's a lot faster on Twitch. Right. Let's see if we can get around the table. Oh, just short. But now the problem is when you leave balls close to one another, you leave an easy start for your opponents. This 5 ball's going to go near the pocket. Got to be careful. And now it's tough. Now let's see what the delay is. He's just about to shoot. It's about 1.5 seconds. It's actually a lot quicker on Twitch. Quick tab out. Chat window on Twitch. Looks pretty good. Right now, well, this needs a little bit of right spin to try and get to the short rail first and kick in behind this 5 to try and bring it into play. Just a wee bit of right. It's not really brought it into play. It's still in a dangerous place, and of course, you don't really have a lot of choices in what you can leave your partner here. But I mean, he does have a pretty good 3 railer, and he's not looking at it. He's got to go 1, 2, and directly onto the 3, and he's not giving it any attention so far. But that's the shot to play. Got to play it off the 1 or off the 3, the other way round. Whatever he's happy with. 1, 2. Again, just hasn't got the line. I think the better line was off the 1 that way and coming back this way. Maybe that's just my eyes, but that I think was more the shot I would have played. And this might catch. It might catch just a little brush. So now we are all square on 93. And as long as that 5 ball's there, it's always a danger that you're going to chip that 5 ball in. Well, he's got away with it there, Mark Sharp. Brave. But there's still a chance to kick in behind that 5. The danger is scratching off it. But there's still a chance to try and kick in behind that. Very tight though. And Tam going for the force follow. And now Mark Shark has a really awkward shot. He's hampered over the 3 ball. If he's going to play down this way, it looks as if he's going for the old VP4 escape route, the big draw shot, the draw in hope. And that's going to knock the 5 in. So that's ruined that visit. It was always on the cards it was going to happen. Now, I could draw to the rail here with Botman left English and try and kick into that 3. I might miss it. Let me try it that way. Yeah, I've just got a clip on it. Now the 1 ball needs to slow up. It's still on for the carom, but now we're splitting things up. We're running away and opening up the table, so it just means that the balls are further apart. The idea is to try, if you can, and gather them. This 5 ball's heading into the pocket. That's a disaster. Again, the weight is just too heavy from Crossday. He could have played that gentler and that would have been nowhere near the pocket. But he's got a touch like a sledgehammer most of the time. And there's a lot of players play at one pace all the time, and it's usually too heavy for a lot of the times. But sometimes he's okay, but a lot of times he's just too heavy-handed, which could be down to his mouse settings. His settings are maybe too high, and he can't judge the pace as well. But anyway, Tam and Mark are in the lead by 1 point. And of course now the 1 ball is dead in the pocket. Now, if we look at where the 1 ball spot and the point is here is not to pot the 1, because we want to get it back in play, but there is a right time and a wrong time to pot the 1, and now isn't it. Rail, catch the 5, and again Crossday should just run this. If you look at the angle, you run it off the rail and the side rail to try and come down to the 3, that going off the 5. That's one way. You could go inside this way, go to the rail, go to the 5. You just got it too thick. But that ties the score up. We're at 94 apiece. Again, checking the stream, it looks okay. It's been going for 52 minutes. And there is 1 person on Twitch watching this, and that's me. Nobody else. Oh dear. Disaster for Mark Shark. And now we've got the 3 gathered over the pocket. We've got 2 balls in the kitchen I can't play on. So now I'm going to probably pot the 3 ball, but I'm going for the 3 railer or the 2 railer or whatever. Now if I can get to the long rail and hit it, I might stay in the table. And we've got away with it. And somebody at some point's got to take a risk and get that 1 ball out of there, because it's no good to man the beast where it's sitting. That's going to go behind. Just behind. Right, now, I suppose we could take a risk here and pot this 1. It won't leave anything particularly easy. It means that you've got to work that cue ball to get the carom, so it gets it into play. You always take a risk doing it, but you can pat about here for another half an hour and get nowhere with that 1 ball over the pocket. So if we get it into play, it makes it fair for us all. And of course I took the risk and we have got away with it. And Crosty, I think the problem with this shot here is he's maybe pushing the 5 towards the pocket to try and do the force follow. Yep, he's going to finish in the gap. And this isn't easy either, so it could go either way. Well, we've now got 2 on Twitch, so that must be Tam. You can hear how a tactical genius thinks. So, thin left edge with a bit of right, I think, to get to that 5, or go off the rail. He's went around it. He's did the old Crosty boom bang a bang, and he's paid the price as well. They'll never learn. Right, now what have we got here? Well, we've got a force follow onto the 1, or we can go 1 to the 5. Now I tend to want to go force follow onto the 1, but that brings the 3 back up the table, so that might be potting the 1 ball as well. In fact, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for the 3 to the 5. Now, if it hits the rail and comes in behind it, I've got a chance. And it could have finished worse. Probably not an awful lot worse, but it could have finished worse. So now we are on 97, and well, I could do the obvious thing, the old BP4 draw shot to the 1. We'll try that without potting the 3, and I've missed it. And what's more, I'm setting it up for the other guys to make a comeback. That was poor. So here we are. We've got a 3-point lead, but probably not for long. And Mark Sharp playing the little delicate one just to keep the 5 well in play. This is and Tam is bottled out big time. And he is bottled out big time. Good morning to Semi-Pro. This is old XSplit Gamecaster. I'm going to have to use this today. I'm just testing it's all working. Because I've got audio problems in broadcast, and I haven't had enough. I haven't got the patience to mess about with it anymore. For the time being, I'm going to get it all uninstalled and reinstall it all. Right, so we can go a little bit of right off the short rail and in behind the 5, and I went right behind it. The right behind it, that was poor. I should have juiced it up a bit more. Well, I've been tested YouTube already. The delay on YouTube is about 4 seconds. The delay on Twitch is about a second and a half, which I think's always been the case. Both the channels look good enough. I'll test my my webcam's working. That's working. You'll see the old man in the corner. That's working okay. But we'll be back to the old-fashioned way of doing it. The chat is now on my main monitor. That's fine. I don't need to look at the second monitor. I'm only looking at it at the moment because I'm looking to see what the stream looks like up on Twitch. And that's fine. The ball seems to be running good enough. Right, what have I got here? We're on 99, and I have got a shot on the 1 ball to come around the angles onto that 3 ball. And I need to try and find the line. And we've just got the line. And that gets us on to 100. And if he can miss the double kiss, Crosty could drop through in the scratch on the one. He needs to miss the double kiss. And that's well done. And that is good night from me and good night from Semi-Pro. And we will be back later in the afternoon for the live streams for the 10 Ball World Championship. And I'll just say good night to them because they're all going. And we will now end the stream right now, and we will be back later this afternoon. And Steve intends to join in as well. So hopefully he'll be out and had his breakfast by then. So till we meet later, we'll bid you good morning, and I'm going for breakfast.